my name's Ivan Cooper. I'm going to be doing technical vlogs for everything to do attributed with this trip on overlandy.com, and that means I'll be doing technical evaluations on all the equipment on the vehicle itself, attachments to it, and you'll be seeing those up on YouTube and on our website throughout the next 9 months. So hey guys, it's Ivan from Overlandy, and today we're going to do a little tech video on recovery equipment for the outward journeys or journeys where you're going out on your own in the bush and whatever else. Make no bones, recovery is an important element of what you do off-road. It's inevitable at some point you're going to come across a point where or a time where you're going to need to recover yourself or possibly help recover somebody else. For me, recovery it's about being responsible. It's about taking control of the situation. If you are the person who's doing the recovery, if you're recovering somebody, you're in control, not them. If they want to be in control, then I'm sorry, my view is they're on their own. They can give you a comment, they can give you a view, but ultimately you're responsible. You're using your vehicle, your equipment to help them. You pay a lot of money for your equipment. It's your vehicle. You don't want to damage it. So my opinion is, if you're recovering somebody, you take control and you deal with it. This vehicle is equipped with a 12,500 pound winch, or 5.4 tons. It's got recovery points on front and rear as standard, and it's got additional recovery points put on the back, which I'll talk about, or I'll show you photographs in due course. I will take an overall picture of what's on the table here so you can see what I take and what I use. And I've had to use some of this equipment. Up in Namibia last year, we were in our Land Rover and we were on the riverbed, and we had to take a route off. I walked it, the ground felt absolutely solid. Drove onto it, bang, I'm on the chassis. Cars on the chassis, trailers on the chassis, we were really stuck. It took us over an hour to get out of that. So I want to talk a little bit about some of the equipment that we have here. So good recovery equipment is important. Don't buy cheap recovery equipment. It does not work. You're wasting your money. Buy good stuff, good quality, reputable equipment. Obviously, part of driving off-road, the first thing you want to be looking at is tyre pressures. I carry two, one for deflation, one for checking. I deflate with that, I check with that. It's a good quality, good brand ARB product. It works and it's accurate. You can deflate with it, but you deflate a lot quicker with this. You just screw it on, undo the pin in the middle, push the valve up, out comes the air. It works very easily. In terms of winch, using a winch, it's a really, really dangerous piece of equipment. Make no bones, people have died, people have got seriously injured using winches. The strain that's on there, whether it's a kinetic rope or whether it's a steel rope, you know, it is insane to let anybody near that rope or line when you're using it. We carry two blankets, we load them, we put them on the lines. I'll show you a recovery point at some point in the future, another little video that we're going to do on that. When you're recovering, make sure you're in control. If you're using that winch, you're in charge of it. You're in charge of people's safety. Anything in front of that winch is dangerous. You make sure people stand well away. But again, as I say, I'll talk about that in another video. So recovery breaks down into various things. Are you stuck or is somebody else stuck? And there's different techniques you're going to use and different equipment. One of the key things I say, people say, Jump leads are not part of recovery. Well, I would beg to differ. Vehicle isn't working, how do you start it? You can either tow start it or use a jump lead. I use good quality, I think they're rated at 600 amps, and they work. There's a lot of talk about using jump leads on somebody else from your vehicle. If they've got a dead cell, let's say, in their battery, and you use jump leads, it's possible you could damage your battery, which then means you got to start up at some point a day or so later. You've now got a problem. Me, if I jump start somebody, I work off my secondary battery. That way I know my primary battery is always going to be good. So to me, jump leads are part of recovery. Again, going back to tyre pressures, have a good quality pump. I have a 160 litre per minute T-Max pump. It's brilliant. Made a few adaptations onto it, put a quick release valve on, gauge valve here, I can now control it, and it works. I changed the wiring configuration slightly, and I have a Bradley Anderson socket that I plug into the back of the car, and it's fused to about 50 amps. This thing draws about 45 at initial load, drops back to about 38, 39 amps. So through there, into the back of the car, works perfectly. Good voltage, good current. This may sound crazy. You're recovering in the heat. One of the things you're going to get hot, whether you're digging or whether you're strapping or whatever the case may be. H2O. Keep some with you. It works. You need it. You'd be surprised how thirsty you get when you're working in the sand, especially digging. In terms of shovel, we actually carry two. This is my smaller one that I keep packed away. The bigger one's on the side of the trailer. Wraps away. You can get well under the car without damaging anything. It's easy to use. Again, recovery. Let's talk about when you're recovering. Let's say at night. Generally speaking, you don't night drive off-road. You have. Sometimes you have to. Sometimes you've got no choice. If you are stuck, I carry a couple of things. One, really good quality LED headlight, really bright, and I can see plenty around me. I can check around as well. Here in Africa, out in the bush, we've got wild animals. We've got lions, you know, and leopards and whatever else. A good quality headlight that can give you some vision, again, helps. I have a flood LED light that I put on next to me, and it gives me sight. It gives me more sight around where I'm working. It's a really cool piece of equipment. I also carry night sticks or light sticks. These last between 8 and 12 hours. Okay, you use it once, you throw it away. I think they're really useful. They're invaluable because if you are doing something at the side of the road, you can put your warning triangles out. You can put one of these up. It gives an added advantage of safety. Wear a reflective jacket. Mine's packed away in there. I'll get it behind my seat. Reflective jacket is important. So let's talk about ropes. My winch line's around about 25 metres. I've seen guys, there's a couple of guys in Australia, they managed to tip one of the vehicles over. It happens, you know, these things happen, and they had to get a line out a hell of a long way to get a recovery point to pull themselves right. I think in total length between the straps that I've got from these, the various ones, and I've got a 15,000 kilo Dinosaur rope on top, which I can attach to the winch, etc. So I can get out to about 140 metres, 150 metres. It's unlikely you're going to have to do it, but we're out on our own in Overlandy. We are really going out on our own. So if I have to dig a hole, I may not be able to dig a hole because the ground's too bloody hard, but I may have a tree 80 metres away, 90 metres away. I can get to it and I can strap to it. If you're using a tree, good quality strap to go around the tree. You don't have a right to damage a tree. You put a steel cable around a tree, you're going to cut into it, and you know, that's wrong. In my view, it's wrong. Some people say, hey, they don't care. Well, you know, don't care, live that life, but do it right. Use a good quality strap. Again, each one of these straps, other than this one, which is effectively my immediate tow strap if I need to give somebody a hand at the side of the road, that's rated to 5,000 kilos. It's enough to pull somebody along, get them out of trouble. It saves me having to unpack everything to get to them. But every one of the other straps that I've got, every one are rated to 10,000 kilos. I have a vehicle weighing, fully loaded, around about 4.2, 4.3 tons. Trailer loaded about 1.2, 1.3 tons. Put that into heavy sand, you've got some weight. You know, you can be on mud. You know, you've got something you've got to really think about. You'll notice when you look at this, I don't have a kinetic recovery strap. I don't like them. Personally, I don't like them. I've seen too many people do too many stupid things with a recovery strap, and you know, it's a lot of strain on the chassis of the vehicle that's towing it out, and also on the vehicle. And if the guy who is being recovered with a kinetic strap doesn't know what he's doing, it can cause you a problem. If I'm pulling from a distance and I'm using one of these ropes, I use this Landard strap, which I put around to outer sides of my the back of the vehicle, and then attach it to the primary recovery point from the vehicle out. It helps keep the back end of the car straight. Good little axe. Axe? Yeah, it's an axe. Some people call it something else. It's pretty sharp. It's good, sharp enough. You may need to cut into a root. You may need to do something. It's handy to have. It's also a good hammer if you need it. So it has multiple purpose. Bow shackles. Again, or sorry, shackles. Not bow shackles, shackles. I have 3. Each one's rated to 10,000 kilos, which is more than enough for the weight that I'm going to be using, or ever using. I can do line out and back. I can do line around the side of it, around through 90 degrees or multiple angles if I need to get myself out. Good quality ones. Haven't had to use them yet. Hopefully I'll never have to use them. But if I do, I've got good ones. Rated shackles. Don't get cheap shackles. They are not worth a light. These things break. They break. Man, seriously, the injuries that have been done because of this. But these are rated to about 5 tons. Key thing about these, when you do them up, come back half a turn. That way it doesn't lock with the strain and the load that's put onto the shackle itself. I have 2, 4, 5, 6, I have 7, 8 shackles to be able to hook up and do various things. All of them good quality, and again good money. These are my slightly lesser ones, which I'd use for possibly just towing somebody out or towing somebody along the road. But generally speaking, I still use my really good quality ones, unless I can't for some other reason. But they're there, and they're rated to about 2.5, 3 tons, which, you know, is good. Recovery is also changing the wheel. I don't like using farm jacks. I think they're dangerous. I've seen too many things go wrong with them with the things. So I use a bottle jack and get a plate underneath, and if I have to dig, then I have to dig. But, you know, I believe in safety. Wheel chock. Simple little thing, stops the vehicle running away. Good thing to have. Sand traps. Sand traps are brilliant in the right conditions. Again, you'll see when I show you a picture of the back of the vehicle. On the back of the vehicle I have 2 recovery points. Me, when I put these on and I'm using them, I use a piece of paracord, and that piece of paracord is then attached to the back of the vehicle, so that once I'm moving, it's 10 meters of paracord, and I can then pull those along behind the vehicle or trailer until I'm on good ground where I know it's safe to stop, and then I can recover those and pack them away and carry on again. It's a little tip. Some people would say, I'll walk back. Good luck. 45 degrees, see, you want to walk back 5k's, good luck. Me, I'm walking back 10 meters and I'm having a happy day. I can carry on my journey. So another thing to look at is you get a puncture. I have a complete kit before putting plugs in. It's a good quality little kit. I've got spare valves, all the necessary bits and pieces, cements and whatever, cutting bits, and again, bizarrely, I keep an old pen gauge in here, pen tire gauge. My dad told me about these things many years ago. He keeps one, I keep one. Do you know what? It's invaluable. It's a spare, it's a backup, it's out of the way. And do you know what? I think I've used this maybe once, not with these tyres, but on another vehicle. Brilliant bit of kit, worth having. Now to probably, for me, one of the most important bits of recovery. If you're winching or you're talking to another vehicle, I have a VHF radio in this vehicle, somebody else may not. Somebody else may be talking to me in front of me, or need to talk to me in front of me about doing a recovery. Handheld VHF that's capable of speaking to you in your vehicle. They can talk to you directly, they can hear you, you can hear them, and they can give you information that you may not see in that recovery position. If you're recovering the person, somebody behind you, and you're about to pull them out or tow them out or whatever the case may be, again, you can talk to them, you can loan them that for a few minutes, and it makes it a lot safer. So for me, a few extra bucks, so what? I've got safety. One of the other things we look at here in Africa, we end up doing quite a few river crossings. You do in Aussie and you do in other places, but me, I carry this rope. Yeah, we have to look for crocs, alligators, wherever you are. Look for some bubbles, no bubbles. After about an hour, you know there's no crocs or alligators or whatever. You're pretty safe to wade across. I don't want to wade across that river and come back, and wade across the river and come back. So what I do is I take this with me. I wade over. This is attached to the line to go on the vehicle, the winch line. I take with me a strap and a couple of shackles. So I wade over, I can then pull the recovery line over. I haven't got to come back and get it. I can then take the VHF, put it in a couple of Ziploc bags. It's waterproof, it's dry. Hey sweetheart, other side of the river, you're good to go. So she can now come over and she can recover the vehicle. She can do all the same techniques I've done. She's done the courses, and it makes it safer. So you haven't got to keep wading to and from a river. You're there, you're talking to that vehicle then. So you can give her guidance on what's going on. You can see a bigger picture. And so me, I carry that. It's about 25 metres long, maybe 30 metres. It's enough for me. If I need to go any longer, I'll attach the other rope up and I'll pull that over, and you know, happy days, we can recover. But you know, having all this equipment is one thing. The key thing is, don't get yourself in that position in the first instance. Have it in case you've got a problem, but go look at what you've got to go over. Go look at what you've got to see and what you've got to drive through. If it doesn't look right, find a way round. If you're really, really stuck and you have no choice, take precautions. If you're going to have to go through a mud bed or whatever else the case may be, or a really uneasy looking river crossing, take the line over first if you can, because then you're not trying to recover the vehicle in the middle of a river or anything like that. So it's about taking precautions. Have the equipment, but be safe. It's not dangerous if you're safe. And we do it, we go off-road quite a lot now. We obviously are doing a lot of off-road in this journey. We haven't had to use this equipment at the moment, other than the air pump to inflate tires, to inflate the tyres. But generally speaking, we don't need to use the equipment, but we have it. Namibia last year, we needed it. And yes, it took us an hour to do a recovery, but we were on our own. We were really stuck. I had good quality equipment. It worked and it got us out. And but whatever, always be safe and always enjoy it, you know, and enjoy the life and enjoy the outdoors, because it is really cool. But guys, be safe, be happy, and we'll speak soon.